we can't change people. We can only change ourselves. And it's not even so much that we're changing ourselves, it's about recognizing who we really are and recognizing what is true. Recognizing the difference between our conditioned self and our true self. Our conditioned self is very concerned with what everybody else is doing. Our conditioned self is very focused on what everybody else is doing and loves to pick. Loves to find things wrong with what everybody else is doing. Also loves to find things wrong with what we're doing. Our conditioned self, like we've talked about before, is always under construction. Our conditioned self is always trying to be better. Our conditioned self is always trying to improve upon the self that really doesn't need any improving upon. It just needs to be recognized. So this conditioned self is running around judging everyone, and the true self, the whole self, who we really are, our true essence, our true magical beauty, is content in its own being. But the problem is we wear the clothes of the conditioned self. I think I've talked about this before where, we're all wearing costumes. We're just here in costumes, So we're wearing these costumes, and these costumes get very, 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 very heavy if we don't start taking off some of the layers. So this very heavy costume is weighing us down, and that's where we completely forget who we really are, because our true essence is love. In reality, we are love. It's who we are. We are pure love. And unfortunately, as we grow up and we spend our time on planet Earth, in whatever circumstance we're in, we learn that other things are important. And we learn that judgment is important. We learn that focusing on what everybody else is doing is important. We learn that having certain things are important. We learn that judging ourselves is important. So all these things become important, but they're really not important. And what's really scary is they become important. They're important to the conditioned self, but the conditioned self is insatiable. The conditioned self is never satisfied. So if you can see that you're in this crazy catch-22 when you're living through your ego, which is the conditioned self, you're in this very crazy catch-22 because there's never satisfaction. It's never going to be okay because you're judging from a place, a position of the ego, and the ego is never satisfied.